Welcome to the vlog. It's August the 26th, I believe, yeah, Wednesday. I have slacked on my fitness as of lately. I figured I should make videos every day, and then in the video say that I went to the gym to hold myself accountable, because let's be honest here, I am not the best at holding myself accountable. I'm at the gym now, so I will see you guys in a moment. Alright guys, so right now I'm actually working on the exterior sign of my shop right now. So this right here is a 40 by 30 plexiglass sheet. I have my design and measurements over here. I connected the corners here to find the center point. I then made a y-axis off that center point. I should be able to work off that. So if you guys would give me a couple hours, I'll be able to grind out this logo and hopefully it'll look perfect, and then it'll be time to paint it. So I went ahead and went over my pencil in Expo marker, and then I flipped it over and reversed it. When I paint it on the reverse side, there won't be any paint on this side of it to get weathered or anything. But on this side, on the inside of the frame and inside of the sign, you'll have the actual design painted on. In a minute, it'll all make sense. So I'm gonna mask this off and then start painting. All right guys, so I drew out the design and I've taped it off. And I'm going to be using this Rust-Oleum American Accents semi-gloss hunter green, and I want to give it a couple of coats, and then tomorrow I'll go over it in white. So a couple of days ago I actually ended up installing this EAG tire carrier. I did plan on making this video and I did film it, but only about half of the clips came out salvageable. A lot of them were actually corrupted, which is unfortunate, but luckily for you, I was able to scavenge together the footage that I did have and make a somewhat alright video for you guys. So that'll be coming up right now. Today is a chill day at the shop, but we got a couple things in the works. Joseph is in town. He's helping me out with this headlamp cover for the Firebird. We're gonna do a little bit of body work on it. It's all bruised up. We have headlamp gear as well, and a tire carrier for the Jeep. This is a heavy duty tire carrier. My OEM hinges are starting to kind of flex and give out, so I figured it's a great time to buy this kit. This is from EAG. Looks similar to the same design as Red Rock 4x4, except one difference I already noticed is I'm pretty sure the Red Rock 4x4 has bushings right here at this hinge right here. Instead, this EAG is steel. Of course, maybe that is why this is, I don't know, maybe $219, and the Red Rock 4x4 is, I don't know, about $400, double the price. So to start with the headlamp gear replacement, I first am removing the headlamp assembly. Now I'm just breaking off this shell off of the motor. This is glued together, so you'll need a screwdriver or some sort of prying tool to open up the motor. Pulling out the shaft there, and there's the original gear. Just spraying down the inside casing with some brake cleaner, and it looks pretty clean now. And that is the OEM gear, plastic, over 20 years old, and there is the new brass gear. You have to remove this rubber isolator from the original gear, place it into the brass one before installing it onto the shaft. Don't forget your bushings. add grease and install the headlamp gear again. And in a second here, we're going to test it out. Unfortunately, what ended up happening is the passenger side was fixed, but the driver's side has started grinding. So we're going to have to replace the other side soon. Kind of frustrating. This is a closer look at the tire carrier that I got. This is by EAG. This design looks really close to the Red Rock 4x4 design. Taking off the stock tire carrier, made some quick work out of it with the impact. Now I am removing the plastic trim off of the stock hinges. You can just use a flathead screwdriver and pry around the edges and they come up pretty easily. You want to make sure the gate is closed fully before moving the hinge bolts. After that, you probably want to clean under it. There will be an accumulation of dust like you guys can see on my Jeep. There are 4 of these on the tailgate side, and as you flip open the hinges, you will reveal 6 T50 screws. Well, I'm running into problems here. My Euro style light guard is interfering with the secondary hinge. So I'm just making some quick work out of it with my angle grinder and flap disc. And eventually I was able to make enough clearance for the hinge to fit in place. I gave it a coat of black spray paint just to cover up the exposed metal. I don't want any rusting to happen. So I went ahead and started installing the bottom hinge and started working my way up to replacing this back plate. This is where the stock tire carrier connects to. It's just a flat plate secured with a couple of 13mm bolts. Next, you slide in the tire carrier itself, put in these bolts. Lining them up are pretty difficult with the bushings that they include, but swings nicely and it's pretty sweet. So we're back to a couple days later after that initial install, and here is what it looks like. As you guys can see in there, it's a little low profile, so I have to adjust it a little bit in. But as you open it, you can see the tire is actually on this hinge and the tailgate is on a separate hinge here. Still have room to mount my antennas back here. Some adjustment forwards, backwards, and up. In here, there are these turnbuckles. There's one on the bottom right there that needs to be adjusted in a little bit. And I also kind of want to turn this into a releasable pin so I can swing out the tire by itself and then swing out the tailgate. But that'll be a work in progress until I can figure that out. Keep an eye on that turnbuckle as I open up this tailgate. As you can see, it's rotating. So this turnbuckle actually helps keep the tire carrier and the tailgate all aligned, especially when it's swinging. They're going to need to do some sliding back and forth. So as you guys can see, that turnbuckle turns all the way until you shut the tailgate. Overall, seems all right. Seems like a pretty good product. I just got to tighten it up this little distance right here, because as you guys can hear, a little bit of rattle, so we'll get rid of that and it should be good to go. But there it is, guys, the EAG tire carrier. Alright guys, so I put on 3 coats. Figured I'd give you guys a sneak peek before I put it to rest today. As you can see, the green came out quite nicely. Kind of worried that these lines aren't thick enough to be able to see from a far distance, so hopefully that turns out all right. Tomorrow when it dries, I'll make my final decision if I need to make the green a little thicker, but I think she looks pretty good right now. So I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and you guys will see more of this tomorrow.